Hi, I hope everything is going amazing. Hope your day is blessed, and I'm going to bless the rest of your week, bless the rest of your month. So, today, the verse that I want to talk about is Revelation chapter 21, verse 1. It goes like this: And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. Now, this one was so interesting to me, and I had to look up the last part about and there was no more sea and see how people have interpreted that, because initially I took it literally, and some people do take it literally, some people take it figuratively. But when I first read that verse, it reminded me of the times that I'm living in, the times that we're in right now in the year 2024, and how everything is changing so rapidly, so unpredictably, and how there's a way that the earth is going and it's being renewed, right? So there's a new heaven, there's a new earth. And I was reading something today, and this feels like very macrocosmic, right? It's like we know that the universe is always expanding, new things are always going to come about, there's always an abundance of things. And so I was reading this book called Energy Medicine: The Scientific Basis by James L. Oshman. And one thing that he mentioned was how the cell is not a bag. So when we think back to when we were in elementary, high school, or whenever, and we saw illustrations of the cell, those illustrations were like the cell membrane, and we even created cells in school. I remember doing a project like that. It would be like the cell membrane, and then you put little things inside of it to be the nucleus, the organelles, blah blah blah, and then the rest of it was just solution or cytoplasm, and that was just the rest of the cell was liquid. And he's saying that the picture, the illustration of what the cell actually is slowly changing, but dramatically changing, because there's been discoveries that the cell is actually filled with filaments, tubes, fibers, and other things that make it actually not so much solution. There's not much room left for liquid to be all up in the cell. It's very structured. And although it's structured, well, okay, so that part I want to relate to the part that talked about and there was no more sea, because that just kind of connected, that just resonated for me today. It's like, and there's no more sea, and slowly the picture of the cell is becoming less filled with liquid. So that was just interesting, and it gave me some imagery on both sides of the spectrum of like the macro and the micro. So the new heaven and earth is the macro, the cell is the micro. And I like this imagery in my head. I liked picturing things this way because I do feel that everything is interconnected. And yeah, so that was interesting. He also mentioned how the structures of the cell connect to each cell, so they're held together by those structures. And even when someone touches us, right, you're doing any type of physical therapy or even just randomly, if your cells are touching, those structures are now becoming interconnected, and what's happening in one cell is happening in all the rest of the cells because of how intricate and closely intertwined all the cells are. And so even when someone touches you, it's like they can transfer over to you whatever's happening in their cells by touching your cells. And I just found that so interesting because it's like we have to continually renew ourselves and do so intentionally, because the old will die. The old will die and the new will live on. It will live on through the people that we touch, the children that we have. Even if you're mostly old, in a way, in the way that I'm trying to say this is, even if the old or negative or distorted bad parts of you are the majority of what your being is, those new better parts of you that are there are the parts that are going to live on. So we have to continually renew ourselves and just become in love with becoming better, because the new earth and new heaven are emerging. And personally, I want to be a part of that. I want to pass through my children and the people that I meet the new parts of myself that are better and changed, and continue to leave my legacy in that way. And so my message is just to continually renew yourself intentionally. It is harder to stay ignorant these days than it is to become knowledgeable, because everywhere we turn, we have tools. We have a huge tool in our hands, our phones, to be gaining more knowledge. And when you are consuming things that aren't good for you, it's a choice, because you have the choice to go look up something that you're interested in and become a more skilled person in whatever you're interested in. And you have the tools. You can go to a library. There's so many free public libraries and other things like podcasts, YouTube. Like, there's just so many ways to renew yourself intentionally. And it's important that we do so, because the earth is changing and renewing itself no matter what. God has a plan for what is coming. And I want to be a part of that plan. That's something that is very important to me. So, yes, the first earth is going to pass away. It's going to pass. And I'm here for it, because I want to be a part of the new earth. And even if I'm not here, I feel like we're in that right now. Like, it's happening. But even if I'm not here, my children will be. And through them, I will be a part of the new earth, because I renewed myself. I'm not going to let me pass away in a way. So intentionally renew yourself, gain that knowledge, be a part of the change that is happening, be a part of the advancements that we are just seeing all over the place. And you can do this by starting with reading one book that you're interested in, or picking a skill that you're interested in and diving into that, and making yourself new by becoming more confident in those things that you are pursuing. Because when you become more confident in something, it adds to your identity, and adding to your identity is going to change your identity, making you new. So change your identity by diving into who you are and what your interests really are. I do have a recipe this week, some plantain tortillas. I made these tortillas a while ago and it was on a whim. They were super good. And yeah, if you like this video, give it a like. And yeah, I'm gonna keep sharing the knowledge that I receive from the Bible and any other knowledge that I received, like from this book, because it was pretty good and it connected to this verse. And I feel like so many things are connected, and I like challenging myself to be able to make these connections and come up with a message that I think will help someone, for any ears that are willing to hear, for any ears that hear. So, yes, I hope you have a blessed and beautiful day and intentionally renew yourself. Peace.